Good evening, everyone. This meeting will now move to opening session. We're going to start off with the invocation from Commissioner Dickerson.
Father God, we thank you for this time, and we thank you for this great commission. Thank you for the Brunswick Housing Authority, our residents, the staff, and the commissioners. Lord, I pray that you bless us today, that we come to accomplish the business that's needed for this great community and our residents, Lord, and that we will work together in love, peace, and unity, God. And I thank you for it now in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. We'll start off the meeting with approving the agenda. Is there any amendments or discussion about the agenda for April 24th, 2023? Has everybody looked at it?
I would maybe just suggest that on the minutes, that the last one, the 19th meeting, be strike that.
Right, because you said we don't need minutes for our agenda meetings.
Right.
Okay. We're going to vote on the minutes, if I'm saying it right, but we're going to approve it as it is, but pending we're going to approve it, but pending some amendment changes, I'll sign them next month. Did I say that right?
You'll need the,
We'll vote
we'll
on
have to, the amendments have to be approved by the commission.
Right.
Right.
But there's some amendments that needs to be fixed
And
to the minutes.
the minutes,
Yes.
so we'll take that up after we approve the agenda, is that right?
Okay. All in favor of accepting, all in favor, I entertain a motion for the agenda for April 24th.
I move to approve the agenda for April 24th, less the approval of the minutes of the agenda meeting for monthly meeting held, what, was it April 19th?
April
Yeah,
19th.
on April 19th.
Second.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. If that motion carries, we're gonna, the motion was to approve the minutes as are pending the amendments, they'll be signed next month.
So we need a separate motion to approve the minutes.
Do them separately?
Well, that was the agenda, right?
Right.
Okay, so we'll do them separately then. All right, so we already took care of April 19th. Approval, I entertain a motion for the minutes held on, the meeting held on March the 8th. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. With no nays, that motion carries 3-0. That needs the amendment changes, Ms. Kirby?
For the regular meeting?
Yeah, on March 8th, I already emailed you all the changes, so we don't have to go back over them.
So the commission has to, I mean, I think
Yeah.
to approve the minutes.
They approved March the 8th.
Yeah, we would need, if there is a amendment needed,
Changing?
we just need to have that called out.
Okay. Let me go and tell you what the changes are. Okay. On March 8th, the regular meetings that needs to be amended is to Maisha Housley is not a resident council member, so that needs to be
That's
removed.
not true, she is.
She's not on, is she?
Yeah.
She's not on the election list.
She's a resident council member.
Advisory board.
She's on the, she's on the advisory board.
Okay, you didn't get that memo.
Okay, my name is Maisha Hosa.
I mean, I know your name, but I'm
You
saying
pronounced it
that,
wrong though.
hmm?
You pronounced it wrong.
Okay.
I was just correcting you.
What is it?
Maisha Holson.
Maisha, okay. Okay, well, all right then, that's no correction. All right, the second, entertain a motion for the minutes for the special call meeting held on March 16th. Any corrections?
Are there any corrections to that one that,
Yes, she has to add present or absent for the commissioners on the minutes.
I didn't type those, that would have to be done by Attorney Hartman, because I only have a PDF document for those.
on,
I
Okay,
can do that, or
On the
send you the word either way.
on the 16th?
on the, March 16th.
March
Mhm.
16th minutes.
Yeah. Well, the commissioners present or absent are not listed. The word present and absent is not on here.
It says those present were as follows.
So it looks like we had everybody.
Yeah. But see, these changes could be confusing because usually present and absent are to the left-hand side of the margin. But I did read it. And the secretary line is not on here for the signature.
So can we
Approval,
approve them
Mhm.
as they are?
yes.
So I'll move to approve the minutes of the special call meeting of Commissioners of the Housing Authority, City of Brunswick, Georgia, held on March 16th, 2023, to be signed by both the chair and the secretary.
Upon the change amendment.
That's,
Who's the secretary?
Did we change the second?
You say the secretary.
Usually the executive director. or
yeah,
the
acts as the secretary.
That's why I had just chair, because I don't have a.
To be signed by just the chair
Okay.
is my motion.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right. Approval of the minutes for the special call meeting held on April the 11th.
I think did we take a vote on that last
No.
one?
I
On
entertain a
16th?
motion.
Still on the 16th.
Yeah, so I made a motion to approve the 16th.
Any opposers?
My second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? That motion carries 3-0. The next one is entertain a motion for the work session meeting held on April the 12th.
So that was the 16th, then we did the 11th.
You did? Yeah.
I think we did the 11th first.
We did the 19th first. We did the last one first.
Okay.
So I think the next one up is April 11th.
Right. Entertain a motion for the,
Move to approve the minutes of the special call meeting of Commissioners of the Housing Authority, City of Brunswick, Georgia, held on April 11th, 2023.
My second.
all right. Any opposers? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposers? That motion carries. The next one is entertain a motion for the minutes of the work session meeting held on April the 12th. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Need a motion in a second, I think. I move to approve the minutes of the work session meeting of Commissioners of the Housing Authority, City of Brunswick, Georgia, held on April 12th, 2023.
All right. Second,
I second.
any, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Wigglesville. The next one is entertain a motion for the minutes of the executive session meeting held on April the 12th.
I move to approve the minutes of the executive meeting of the Commissioners of the Housing Authority, City of Brunswick, held on April 12th, 2023.
Second,
Second.
any opposes? That motion carries 3-0. All right, got that out of the way. All right, first up is, Corporal Wright is not here tonight.
Did we do the April 19th meeting?
Yeah, we do that first.
Okay,
Struck that one, right?
that's
We
right.
should, yeah, you don't need minutes for that.
I was just giving them
Yep,
that.
right.
All right, moving forward, Corporal Wright is not here. So the next thing up on the agenda is the March financial report.
Included on the first page of your packet for the financials is basically like a summary page like I did last month for February. And because I knew that Ms. Bailey had asked for it, I went on and included it on mine. Just the occupancy and the waiting list numbers and that kind of stuff is at the bottom of the
Okay.
sheet. So we've got the bank balances at the top. Attendance accounts receivable, 2/3 of the way, which is age, so you can see, who's current up to, 90+ days overdue.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the bottom, you've got for public housing for occupancy, we have 589 units. My number here for the occupancy is as of 3/31, because the financials are for March, so I'm giving you the occupancy for that month. We had leased units of 517, which means 72 were vacant. And that gives an occupancy rate of roughly 88%, which is way low for us. Locally owned, we only had 3 vacant units out of 51. Section 8 for March, we have 750 vouchers. We had 661 vouchers being used for the month of March, meaning we have 89 available, which is a low occupancy rate also. I don't know where my voice went. The waiting list numbers over on the right,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know as of March 31st that this information would be needed, and you can't run it backwards, you can't look back. So as of 4/20, the waiting list for public housing was 1,265 people, and for Section 8 it was 371.
Okay, that's good.
And in the financials, just a couple things to point out. I did, because of some of the moving of the money around, especially this is for in general fund, which is central office on the financials, moving around some money for legal expenses for things that were board or staff related, moving that into a non-federal. It decreases the central office expenses overall, which in turn get allocated out to the other programs. So, but it did go into Georgia Hat Federal, or non-federal, I just wanted to point that out because if you looked at last month, you would see there'd be a decrease this month in the administrative.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing is to point out, because this is gonna relate to something that's gonna be discussed later tonight, maintenance contracts under public housing are way under budget. And a lot of that is for vacancy prep, painting and cleaning, and general repairs. Because, we haven't been doing vacancy prep, painting and cleaning. And also because the work that was done on units starting last July, when the shift went toward making, doing the model units, I went ahead and, how I told you guys on multiple occasions that all of the contractors who came in July, I took all those and I charged them all to non-federal in one particular account in Georgia Hat, just to keep it isolated. I did the same with the 3 construction contractors who came in to do the model units. I didn't charge any of it to public housing or to any expense in public housing through federal funds. I just kept it all under that same transition consulting umbrella in non-federal. So that's the primary reason that public housing expenses are low, but that will lead up to something Ed will be talking about later on. I just wanted to point it out now.
Okay. Any questions on the financial report?
On the wait list, just for my newness edification here, we have, on the public housing, we've got 1,265 people on the wait list. Is that apples to apples to the number of units? So with the 1,265, would that be one person, is it one applicant per unit, or?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
But I can't tell you what state of application they are
Sure.
in at the
Sure,
moment.
got it,
Right.
got it. Just making sure I was reading that right.
Yeah, I need that. That's good that that's on here. I wanted to see that, to see how fast we're moving along and doing the turnaround. Okay. Any other questions on the financial report? If there's no other questions,
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the March 2023 financial report.
all in favor say aye.
I'll
Oh, second.
That's second.
All right. All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? No opposed?
I said aye.
Oh, okay.
Just soft.
That motion carries to accept the financial report for March.
But before we move on,
Mhm.
just because it doesn't have a whole lot to do with the financials, but I don't think I saw it on the agenda. Is there anything in the audit that is noteworthy?
Not that I remember.
If it's not memorable to
No,
you, then
no.
that's a good indicator.
I mean, it's so stale at this point.
Right.
They still haven't answered back the information y'all sent in. Didn't you say that the last meeting you were waiting for them to
Oh,
reply back?
HUD, yes, I'm still
Yeah.
waiting for HUD. This is from Norton Johnson, but yeah.
And this was for the year ending
June 22, yeah.
next year's audit, maybe.
Be way different.
All right,
May have some memorable things in that.
Yes.
all right. Moving along, approve updated bylaws.
So in the HUD report from January of '23, one of the items that HUD requested was bylaws that include your meeting dates.
Mhm.
And so for your bylaws that included your regular meeting dates in them. And so as staff is providing information to HUD to try and address the open items in this report, that was one to take off the list, and no substantive change other than the meeting dates are in the bylaws. So that if they're approved, then staff can forward those to HUD to hopefully close that item.
All right. All the commissioners look over the bylaws? All right. Any questions?
It's the chair voting then. No questions then.
Okay. I will entertain a motion.
Move to approve the amended and restated bylaws of the Housing Authority of the City of Brunswick, Georgia, that were presented to the authority in writing at least 5 days ago.
Mhm. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? That motion carries. Approval for the procurement policy.
So similarly, in the HUD report, they said that our procurement policy needed to be updated to reflect changes in the federal regulations. I know there's some other ideas involving procurement that I think will come and for you all to think about and flesh out over time, but as we're just trying to take open items on the HUD report and close them, I suggest that that you all consider approving the updated procurement policy. The main change, the federal regulations take the amount from micro purchases goes from
100 to 250.
7,500 to 10,000. Small purchases used to be 7,500 to 100,000. Now it's 10,000 to 250. And either sealed bid or RFP is over 250,000.
Any discussion, any questions? All right, I entertain them. If there's no questions or further discussion,
Make a motion that we approve the updated Brunswick Housing Authority procurement policy.
I would second that motion.
hold on.
Before you do that, I don't wanna look back at your date.
Yeah, I'll change
On that date,
it'll reflect when it's adopted today.
and the first page, introduction.
Okay,
What was the last thing you said?
In the introduction, you wanna change the date there, and on your front page right there.
to today's date.
Right. When it's actually adopted.
Okay. The motion was already on the floor.
And it's continuing.
Yeah. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? That motion carries. All right. Next on the agenda is the approve the RFPs for residential services. Richard Jackson.
Yes, ma'am. What I need today is approval to submit RFPs for the services of child care, daycare, family development, and youth education. There's 3 different types of RFPs to cover all the services that we need from our and the process will go, if approved, we'll submit current department with finish the word, we'll advertise in newspaper and website. And then once they come back, at least 30 days, come back, we will rate them, staff will rate them. And then the highest rated ones we have presented for you all. If you all approve, then we'll come back to staff and we'll close in with you. Come through the attorney's office. And that will have the details you need, how to proceed, how to provide some little payment. If it's a multi-year bill, it'll be all of them. That'll be the staff and issues you all to review before signing.
You're not gonna start out as a multi-year deal, are we?
The only one I probably want to do multi is probably child.
Okay. And then they're going to report how often about how the program is
That will be
going.
in there, 'cause my staff will be going in, occasionally checking out, making sure. And just like since I've been here, submittals have been submitted with about residents that they serve, and we'll verify. If you don't verify, they won't be verified. So we've been clearing that as a federal since I got here. So, more control.
Okay. And bring us an update of how they're doing. Right. Okay, thank you. Any further discussion on the RFPs? Everybody get a chance to look at them? All right. I entertain a motion.
Make a motion that we approve RFPs for residential services.
I would second that motion.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposers? That motion carries. Thank you. All right, next is the tenant write-offs. Approval for, okay, tenant write-off. I got the tenant write-off. On some of these write-offs, the late fees vary. Why does the late fees vary? Anybody?
as far as when they were put on the tenant's account, I don't know, we don't really have anybody in housing right now, but over housing to be able to answer this question.
There's not site manager to report on that.
Normally somebody, yeah. But, I'm not sure, I mean, honestly, I'm not sure when the late fee amount changed and when, you know, but whatever was in my way of thinking, whatever was in effect when that person, you know, whatever the unpaid balances were on her account or his account, it would be whatever late fee policy was in effect on that date. So,
Cause late fees got changed, what, from 50 to 20? Did it change?
yeah, but I
Did it
don't
change?
know. I think that's right, but I don't know.
When kids was checked. When kids was, yeah, when kids checked, when kids was here. Yeah.
Can we get this in writing?
Yeah, what
Are we
it was.
on rule?
Yeah.
Changes that were made? Or we was on system? Nothing. Before we had
Can you?
sat there and figured it out that we can rule.
Can you find out, if you can find out when it was changed and how it's changing by its, because this, some is 50,
Yeah, I see that.
Looking at it, I think it changed when HUD gave their response for the review that they did, and they said just the late fees or something that is within range. Because everything before was like, all the ones that I see, that was $50 before the 8, and then after that, everything was $20. And then once they gave their response back in March, I don't even know when they gave their response back. I know they said about March the 2nd. Somewhere in that time frame, they came back to get the price. I imagine that the late fees
can
were
you just find out,
adjusted.
yeah, and what it is and what the exact amount is? Okay. Any questions? I think Mr. Case, when he was chair, he changed it. Any questions or discussion? On that, before I send it back.
I guess, to me, the ones that we're writing off are less of a concern. Writing them off, but there aren't any more
Trash fees?
$50 late fees that would be floating out there that we have not written off yet, correct? Or maybe?
Not unless the person hasn't either been evicted or,
Right.
you know, but I mean, it will have the date of the charge. You know, if it does happen, you will clearly be able to see that date on there
Some,
when it
this
does happen.
says.
Would we need to just go back and anyone that is 50, go back and change it to 20? That, for any that are still gonna be out there after this write-off, does that make sense?
Any that's coming up, you're saying?
No,
Are
I'm
they-
saying change any that are still outstanding
Mhm.
Right,
to 20. I don't, you have to talk to Brad.
right. And that's probably a little bit of an accounting nightmare. Maybe we can deal with it on an ad hoc basis as it comes up.
Mhm.
So that really makes sense.
I think we can just leave it there.
That's the adjustments I was talking about.
Okay.
The current
Yeah.
adjustment.
That's what I asked them to look it up and see when it was changed and how, and a definite price of what it, whether it's 50 or 20 and when it took place.
Okay.
All right. Okay. All right. If there's any more questions and discussion? Yes?
I'm not staff anymore, but I can answer the question. It changed whenever the ACOP changed.
Okay.
And backdating people's late fees, it's not fair to people who've already paid the late fees. You don't change it till after the date on the ACOP. You don't backdate people. That's basic accounting.
So can you show that to us when it was changed and how much it was changed? All right.
But we haven't changed it without that board. We haven't.
You want to approve that?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get the information.
Mhm.
I'll get it.
Okay. All right.
Fair enough.
Mhm. All right. Any questions and discussions on any of these write-offs? All right. Entertain a motion.
I move to
opposes? That motion carries. Thank you. Next on the agenda is, we have to go into, don't we do this in executive session?
If you want to talk about something that, staff related, we can go into executive session. Any approval would have to be in a regular meeting.
Right.
When you came back into it, but if you want to talk about it, try to do that.
Right, yeah, we need to talk about some things about the guys in executive session. And so we do it at the end, or stop now and then come back to, or do we go on and?
If you want to defer that item to the end and just to keep going.
Yeah, because we need Commissioner Booker here too. We can defer this one.
Make a motion.
I guess one would be to defer to the end of the meeting, and one would be to defer to another meeting. That's up to you which one you choose to do.
Defer to the end of the meeting. To the end of the meeting.
Make a motion.
Do I need a motion now?
I move to defer item number 5 under the approvals needed to the end of this meeting prior to the adjournment.
Second.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye. Any opposes? That motion carries. Discussion items. Ms. Dryer, Philip Gerald.
You know, I talked to Philip Gerald, he's our key accountant who handles some year-end work for us every year. And I talked to him about what, because we have him on contract, so he has certain items that he's under contract to do, but also in his contract it says, you know, of course, for a rate, he will do other things upon request. So with me leaving soon, it would be, I talked to him about what he would be able to come in and either help with or do instead of me, that type of thing. He's gonna get back with me on some availability of what his time, how much time he has to do that. And I also just wanted to, so I don't have a complete answer for you right now, as far as that. And also, I just verified with him, because, you know, not knowing what you guys are planning, I know that after the agenda meeting the other day, hearing you guys talk about the incoming executive director position, that there might be an interim. So if there was an interim, you know, would you be interested in a fee accounting firm instead of, if you didn't hire somebody immediately for my job, you know, you could contract with Philip Gerald to do that, to do, you know, the whole shebang. However, that would need an RFP. You would have to put an RFP for that specific purpose. So, because nothing that's in the current contract that we have, even the stuff that he would be billed at separately from his regular fee would cover that.
It's totally different.
Yeah.
Okay. And so you're just waiting for what he can do in his availability. Okay, so then we can defer this item.
Yeah, I mean, that's nothing, that's.
Okay. All right. Nan McKay?
Talk to them also, because just in case nobody, you know, in case somebody doesn't remember, back in January or so, we put out an RFP for some on-site training and for Section 8, just because in Section 8 department, it's been since 2021 that we've had a completely experienced and trained staff in that department. I'm not knocking anybody, I mean, no matter what anybody thinks. It's just that we don't have people with the depth of knowledge of being there for years and knowing how the program works. I mean, if you hired somebody off the street who had worked at another housing authority with Section 8 experience, that would be great. But, you know, we keep bringing in people and training them, which is good, but, you know, especially after the debacle with CMAP, it just, I mean, it's not even my department. It just makes me nervous going forward. It's like we need somebody here to show everybody here, the whole department,
Right.
the best way to do it. Well, that was the whole idea there. Did an RFP, brought, you know, said NMK got the award, they said okay, and then Mr. Baker changed his mind. So I just reached back out to them last week and said, hey, you know, are you guys still interested in this? And they said, they came back and they said yes, but we currently do not have the staff to do what the RFP what we originally agreed to do. Because what they had agreed to do was like part-time working here with us, part-time remote, and it was up to a full year. It was a really involved thing. I don't think it would have lasted a year, but that was just how they projected it. But they said the best we could do right now would be to provide some remote assistance. So, and let us know if you're interested. And I'm like, well, in my mind, then we just need to go right back out for it with an RFP. If that was something that you guys wanted to do, you'd have to start from scratch all over again. So, just an FYI. Because now they're saying we can only do it part-time.
Right.
Well, the only other response we got from the initial RFP was one other firm that said, we can't do it full-time, but we could help you out part-time. Well, now the second, the one that won is saying we can only do it part-time, so to
And
me,
then
we
we
just
have
have to
to
start.
Then we would have to hire somebody separately to do the part that they can't do. And then it's
Or-
like paying two firms to do one thing.
I mean, I don't know how long it would take. I mean,
So you haven't heard back from them either?
who?
No, okay.
Yeah, that's, well, they
So-
let me know that they don't have the
I
staff.
guess we
to
just
do it.
have to discuss that again then.
I mean, I'm not saying that this is my thought on,
Mm-hmm.
as an outsider on the Section 8 department, but seeing the audit and knowing what's coming up,
Mm-hmm.
you know, it just seems to me like you go grab the experts and you bring them in and, but I guess they're shorthanded like everybody else at the moment.
So we need to have that discussion. Because I don't want to pay two different firms to do one thing. We just pay one person to do it all.
Definitely have to
Yeah,
have a
so we
discussion
can
on that.
just defer that. Are y'all interested in commission deferring that?
I would do that. I rather prefer it.
Okay. So put a motion, entertain a motion to defer.
I entertain a motion to defer for now until we can find somebody that we can get to fill that void. Compared to entities, that would be.
They can only do certain things and then somebody else,
Yeah,
yeah.
lead to certain
I think maybe we should
situations.
discuss it probably in our executive session.
Okay, at the end of this meeting, okay. Entertain a motion,
I entertain a motion to defer it.
to the end of this meeting.
Then,
Here's a second.
I'll say,
All in favor, say aye. Any opposers? That motion carries. We'll defer this until, discuss it at the end of this meeting. Next is the vacancy update and recommendations for addressing issues. Ed Williams.
Right. So we heard earlier that we got 79 vacant units. I think last meeting was that April, which one was that?
April 12th. April 12th. Work session.
April 12th. I did get approval to issue solicitation to seek new vacancy payment cleaning contracts. And those should be going in publication tomorrow through advertising in the paper as well as through an e-procurement site. And couple of people have reached out to me and told me that they're interested in doing it, so I plan on forwarding them a solicitation as well. And that's gonna take probably until the middle of next month before I receive bids, and then we don't have the meeting until the end of the month.
Mhm.
So it'll be 30 to 45 days before you even see any results from that. So in the meantime, I did reach out, like I had before, through the cooperative purchasing contract that we participated in, and got a number to do vacancy terms for us. And I include this in the packet there. And so that number averages out to be, so it's $79,476 to receive back. That says 20, but it's 21 units. 21 units of varying size, and I should get them back in the next 30 days.
Okay.
So that would turn around 20 units in the next 30 days. Out of 79. And I don't know what numbers the solicitation is gonna return. Independent cost estimate on it, I'm looking at average of $1,500 to paint. And somewhere around 8 or 9 to paint, pretty much double what you used to pay. See, I have no idea if they kept that track so long. And I don't think you'll ever see that again. I don't think you'll ever see it again.
When will those bids be due?
Those bids will be due on, I'm looking at the 17th. I'm still finalizing the date because I have so many to put out. I don't want them all to come back at one time, but I got 3 of them to put out. Because I'm redoing the lawn, redoing paint, I'm doing paint, doing cleaning, redoing the lawn. So I'm not trying to get them all back at the same time. So I'm looking at having paint and clean come back somewhere around the 17th of May. That way I can get them evaluated and be able to present it at the next meeting, the 4th Monday of May. So I should have the recommendation by then. So it'll be the paint, the cleaning, and also the lawn on that day. So about that time. What's in the packet is something that can be done immediately to get a few of the units back. Like I said, we got 79 vacant units, 1,200 and, what was the number? 1,257 people on the wait list.
1265.
That need places to stay.
That's on different units, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
units are different sizes.
Yeah.
On the cover page tell you what size unit. I think it's six 1-bedrooms total. And then it's 7 2-bedrooms, 6 3-bedrooms, and 1 4-bedroom. There's only 2 4-bedrooms that's vacant. One of those.
And the fiscal year is over June 30th, and we budgeted $243,000 for vacancy prep, cleaning and painting, and we've only spent, I don't know,
14,000.
yeah, something, I mean, very, very little of it. So if the point of, using this vendor, before the other bids come in, but as, just use them as a one-time thing to knock out 20 of the units to at least where we can at least lease those back up. The budget's there for it, so.
And that would change your solicitation if we went with this.
No, it wouldn't change the solicitation. This would just to be able to get started immediately. Before the solicitation comes in, it's a way to start turning the units before the solicitation even comes back.
So the solicitation isn't tied to a number of units that need to be.
It's not tied to a number of units, it's tied to a unit size because that solicitation would carry until next year.
Okay.
Well,
Got it.
actually, it would be a 3 to 5. It would be a 3 to 5 year contract with extension periods.
Got it.
This would be totally separate. This is just expediting that whole process to get people into the units.
Right.
Understood.
Total of 79.
See, that might be that.
But you need board approval to do the 20 or 21.
I do.
Yep.
I do because we don't have an executive director.
This been waiting for a while, isn't it?
What's that?
This been waiting for a while.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've been itching to do something about the vacancy.
I
We've
know.
been around here
Right.
for forever.
I know. I think we should get on it.
Mr. Williams, I accept your
Yep. You put a motion.
recommendation.
Yeah.
I just want to say this, please stay on top of them.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
I want to make sure that the residents that moving in, is
Right.
moving into a clean,
Yes.
done correctly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. This is our new beginning. This is our new beginning.
No problem.
And I
And
would,
so whoever walks in there, it won't be major changes like we found before. It just be slight minor changes that won't cost a whole lot of money. So we won't do it right the first time. All right.
you need relief. I'm gonna second that today. You've been stressed for a while on that.
Yeah, so,
And I know.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the vacancy updated recommendation.
And I was second it.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Next item up is the fire extinguishers.
Yes, yes.
Okay, in the packet is a letter which is my recommendation on fire extinguishers. No, it's actually, looks like,
It's under tab 4.
yeah, that's it right there.
Right here. Mhm. Inspired.
Yeah, and I did,
Did you get that from her?
that is needed to be corrected because it's actually in SBIRE, not IN.
Okay.
SBIRE. I realized that I
Inspired.
typed it is inspired. See a definition coming?
I do.
You see it?
Alright, so, since I have looked into doing fire extinguishers and everything, and it averages out, cost is pretty low, essentially $30 a unit for, disposable fire extinguishers. That's just the extinguisher, that's not installing them, you have to go to installing them. But the HUD's grading standards is going from REACT to Inspire. And, I think it's gonna be next year. We'll get one more inspection under REACT, and then I think the next one will be under Inspire. And in Inspire, it has been talked about that they would be requiring us to have fire extinguishers on every level of a unit, not just a single level. That's why I asked the question at the last meeting, 1 or 2. So my recommendation, and credit Ms. Kim for bringing that back to my attention, and they did say that. I think, I'm not even gonna lie to you, I think it's gonna be scrapped altogether when the final rule is issued. But HUD will issue their final rule regarding Inspire. The last email I got said they would issue it at the end of May. And when they issue the final rule on Inspire, which is the new grading standard that we will be going to, a lot of things will change in there. And we may or may not be required to happen. And it would affect how much it costs to do it if you had to do one on every
Right.
single level. So instead of doing procurement for one now and having to go back and do procurement for a whole separate one later. I think it's gonna be better if we wait until the final rule is issued and then come back together and make a decision on what we're gonna do about fire extinguishers then.
I think we just did discuss that before. You said about waiting until we heard back from her, from Inspire at the end of the month.
But if they-
Yeah, we
they
said
that-
that we would, yeah.
And I believe that is, like I said, I still think they're gonna take it out altogether. There was another firm that had the argument with her when they first talked about scrapping it from Inspire. They were saying that they felt like if you force housing authorities and, you know, people who are graded by Inspire standards to put fire extinguishers into their units, that it would cause more people to get hurt, especially the elderly, because they would be less likely to leave the unit in the event of a fire. They would go to the fire extinguisher, and not being trained on using the fire extinguisher would cause more people to perish in this. And HUD decided they did scrap it from there. I don't know if they're gonna add it back to Inspire.
Yeah, but we could get somebody in here to train them, to show them, not train them, but to show them how to use it and make sure they don't use it unless an emergency. I mean, because we have them in houses all over, and I don't understand in a complex like this, and they're connected, that they don't have no unit. Because that fire immersive shows that we need one. Because if it was, they had a fire extinguisher, it may not have been as bad as it was, and it may not have spread
Right.
to the other 5 units.
But see, that's a good example.
Mm-hmm.
That excuse there, the converting on what just happened.
You would hurt a lot of
We
people
got-
without that.
You have a fire,
Mm-hmm.
you got to have some protection. See, the firewalls in those units, you can prevent them from going, because once that fire breached the firewalls, every unit is just gonna come down.
There were no firewalls. There were no firewalls in that unit. And
There were no firewalls in
There
there.
was no firewalls in that unit because of when it was built. Now it's being rebuilt now. It has to have
Right.
That's,
per
Right.
code now. The rest of your building's blocked. The rest of your building's blocked. A kitchen fire is essentially contained to the kitchen. This
it could have been prevented, at least attempted with a fire extinguisher. I think that would stand a better chance with a fire
Yeah.
extinguisher, without one.
Yeah,
But that's pending on the report that
Yeah.
you see back when.
yeah. Because if it's ever about fire, her go get sued for no fire extinguisher, you know, probably somebody might.
no longer you have. It's just not.
But if somebody died in one of the fires, they might get it.
So how many days you wait on a report back for that?
End of May. They supposed to issue the final rule at the end of May, and when they do, I will look into it. I actually have looked into it right now. You can look into the Inspire rules right now, and I've looked at it, and it's not currently it's not in there. The only way it's gonna affect you is if you have them installed right now. But it's still a rough draft right now. But when they issue the final rule at the end of the month, it will essentially be law. And that'll be the standard which we are graded by. We'll have every single, that's gonna be good.
We'll have a year to catch up on that.
No,
Do we
I hope
have
so.
this?
Did you say we'd have one more react and then it'd be,
That react is probably gonna be in, I mean, if they hold true and it happens the same time as last year, it'll be in the next month and a half. And then, yeah, you'll have about a year, and then your next inspection is supposed to be an Inspire inspection of record. And, yeah, we're gonna need we're gonna have to go through a lot of training, everything to even be able to keep up with that protocol.
If HUD ruling be not to have a fire extinguisher, that would be the last word, right? We still have
No,
a
you-
say so based on what we're going through right now, not by theory, but by fact. We need fire extinguishers.
Yeah, we can
We need
revisit
fire
it. If they not forcing us to have them, we gotta have them on every level. We'll revisit. I just wanna find out what they saying, what HUD is saying.
Right.
If you have to have one, if you have to have two.
Right.
If you have to have them. Even if you don't have to have any, we can come back and if that's something that's decided.
We'll keep an eye on that one there. That's important.
That's something we need to have.
We'll
Yeah.
keep an eye on that one.
Yeah,
But if we don't have to have any, and the board decides to get them, we're still gonna get dinged on inspections if it's not.
If only, that's the only way. If somebody take them out, put them in their car because they decide something else, you get hit on that. Because you just gotta live with it. Yeah, you gotta live with it.
what's the penalty if we go, like you said, what will happen to us
Well,
if we
if
go
you have-
against her and get them anyway?
Nothing. Nothing. You just
Okay,
Just your score.
you run the liability, and uninspired, you have to pass the unit portion of it, and it.
and by
From what they
having,
said, a missing fire extinguisher was probably failure.
Well, wouldn't that be responsibility of that tenant that was in
No,
the sanitary
you
unit?
can put it in there, it's yours. Even if the tenant put a fire extinguisher in there, it's yours. It's housing authorities. We're responsible for it, even if the tenant buys it and puts it in there.
Mhm.
So that's the risk factor.
Okay. Oh yeah, the same thing goes with broken glass. The tenant got a
Right.
broken mirror, that's housing authority broken mirror.
Right.
We'll revisit that.
Mhm. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So
At
that's
our
what-
last meeting, there was a motion that was.
That I would look into it.
That you would look into,
Mhm.
okay.
And I did.
You
Yeah,
looked
and
into
this
it.
is it.
I
And this is it.
From-
And so, yeah.
So we would just want to hold off on this until the Inspire rule comes out. and they
Right.
make
Final
it.
work session.
Yes, yes.
And it should be the end of May. Last I heard, it was the end of May. As a matter of fact, public comment is due on the 28th. And they said the final rule should be issued 30 days after public comment. You have to have your public comments in by the 20th. And then, so the final rule should be issued in the.
And everything happens on time in the federal government, right?
No. It's sarcasm. So we don't have to make a mo, we don't have to make a motion on this?
Yeah, but-
All right, and. Okay. And the last thing is that,
Sal mentioned it, but I don't know.
the housing directory vacancy recommendations. What is that?
Do we need to,
Oh, that.
Oh, that's us, that's us.
you ready for executive session?
Well, you want, we've got one,
We have one public, public speaker.
Oh, it's my turn then?
We have, wait a minute. We have any, hold on for a second. We have any reports of committees? No reports of committees? No financial reports? No residential reports? All right. Then we just have a residential empowerment. How did that go?
Went pretty well. The theme was, financial literacy.
Mhm.
We had a certified financial advisor come in, we had a group in Georgia, and talk about lifestyle and budgeting.
Who was that?
Brandy,
Brandy Whitfield, Brandy Nye Whitfield? Mhm.
she did a very good job and very engaging. She handed out notebooks and they went down just creating budget your needs and your wants. They were really getting into it.
Okay.
Next month it would be, the theme would be around mental health.
Okay.
So,
Is it always around a particular time or y'all pick?
a particular theme for that.
No, is it always a particular day or you just pick
Oh,
any day when you have the
it'll
event?
be on Thursday, the third Thursday.
Always the third Thursday of the month? Okay.
Mental health,
Mental health.
that's important.
I get someone talking from an adult parent perspective and from a youth perspective.
Okay.
That's very important.
All right, well, I guess not any more committee items or anything. We can go into public speaking.
Well, hello
We
everyone.
have 3 minutes.
3 minutes,
Yeah.
a long list.
Stay over there. Tell us your name.
Oh, you want me to, okay. Thank you. My first time.
Mhm.
Okay. My name is Taja Williams, and I am on the Section 8 program, in the FSS program. I'm gonna start off with childcare, because I heard Mr. Rich talking about childcare. But you know, childcare is very expensive. Like, the childcare that my son goes to is like $125 a week, and then after school is like $75.
You getting a voucher, right?
No.
It gets-
No, my daycare, he goes to Kids Nest, and they were, I think it was working on getting a contract with you guys.
They
but
do,
never-
they have a contract.
Kids Nest?
Yes. The one on Community Road? I mean, not Community Road.
On Benedict Road?
Benedict and Old Saint.
No, I don't have a voucher.
Yeah, you should be, we're talking, that's the one we just added.
Okay, that's good, okay. Another thing is, when we get a new job, and they say like, we get paid $15 an hour, it's like, when we turn our income, our rent increases. So the problem is, how are we able to save money every time we get a new job and our rent increases? And I was hearing from Ms. Linda that she's trying to crack down on people who are working on the table. I mean, that's the reason why people are working on the table, because every time we get a new job, the rent steady increases, and we have, you know, utilities, car insurance, you know what I'm saying, car payments, clothing, food, and most people don't get food stamps and they're making too much money. So that's another issue. It's kind of hard to save money when it's kind of hard to be able to basically save money when when the rent increases. And another thing is, I live in Eagles Point. Eagles Point goes up on their rent like 3 times a year. And the program allows them to go up on the rent, but the program doesn't verify our income. It just immediately goes up. So that make it hard as well. I just think that I think that all of our affairs should be accountable, like our car payments, car insurance, clothing, food, before our rent increases. Because it kind of make it difficult to do other things that we, you know, need to do. Oh, another thing is, get the vouchers. So I see that the vouchers went up. But do the vouchers go up? Do y'all still have like the same sex in the room? Like, you know how the child the same sex in the room? Is that still?
No, that's when I'm going to cover housing and trying to sit, it's at a certain age.
Okay, because my child is 14. So I was trying to see how can I receive a 3-bedroom so he won't have to share, you know, he's a teenager, so he wants to share a room with his little brother.
How old is his little brother?
4, and he's 14.
I don't think they separate, not unless they changed it over the years.
I don't know either.
I don't think they changed it. I think it has to be an extreme age difference.
You don't think 4 and 14 is extreme?
I mean, that's 10, but they're the same sex.
Yeah, but...
And they're not gonna, no.
Okay, but we still are able to move in a 3-bedroom depending on the voucher size, right?
And availability. I think Eagles Point works a little different than anybody else. They go up on their rent.
Yeah,
More
like...
than anybody else.
They going up to 12. They're 900 now, they're going up to 1,200.
They gonna continue to go up. Yeah, but we can talk tomorrow.
Okay. Another thing is, last year when I wasn't working at all, I didn't receive a utility check, and my $190 a month child support was considered my income. So it was making me late on my rent like every month. So I'm trying to, if I'm only receiving $190 a month for child support, I'm not working, why is that considered my income?
Did you report that?
Yes.
Yeah, child support is considered income. Not food stamps, but child support.
$200 a month, and our rent is $5.
And-
Or maybe more than 5? Like, how can we work
And
with that?
we don't do that, we don't make those rules and regulations, that comes from state, federal, or local. So
That's
we don't,
government.
yeah, we don't have any jurisdictions of how much to charge you, or does it come out of your child support or not. But that's been an argument for years about child support, especially before fathers became single parents and everything. And so child support is basically just not given to the child for shoes and clothes every month. It's used for rent, utilities, wherever it fits in to pay a bill.
So if we're not working and we only have 200 in child support, why are we not receiving a utility check like we used to?
Then we can have,
Think we can look into that?
They probably
Yeah,
based
we
it on
used
the income,
it's based on income.
based on the
The
income.
utility check.
Right.
That was based on the number of rooms and stuff that you have. It varies.
Because we used to give you utility check, and if you said to have your name, you go straight to the power. But that's just something I really want
You can sit down and just hand through all that stuff you have.
Okay.
We should be able to help you out, give you some clarity.
Can you explain to the commission board how that voucher works and how people can know about it before?
Well, this is Section 8 voucher, and the amount just went up in December.
Okay.
I can't tell you off the top of my head. For 3, 4, the 1, 2, 3, 4 room apartment or house.
Bedroom.
Yeah. Studio officials, they have one for that too. And they normally have a utility fee attached to that. So when someone said they're on the wait list for Section 8 voucher or the home house choice voucher, that's what that is. And then in her situation, you have to provide documents if you're working, not working. And then they'll tell you how much you qualify for. If it's changed during your interim, anything changed with her financially, she have an interim, which is the meeting with the staff, let them know your situation, and try to make adjustments if we can to her living arrangements. And sometimes it puts people in a situation where they have to move out of that complex and go somewhere else. Yeah, because it just don't work out.
I thought we had as far as, like she mentioned, getting a new job. I thought we had this meeting prior to you coming here. We had that meeting, we had that discussion before about their rent, if they have a job in mid-year, and if they're not near their renewal date of living there, it doesn't go into effect until their renewal date.
Hold on a second, we got Tasha, you come in. This is Section 8 manager. She can answer.
Okay.
In detail.
All right.
Tasha Douglas.
So, this is one of the questions. If, say she gets a job today, and I thought we had a meeting some time ago before Mr. Baker or whatever, that their change in income doesn't take place until their renewal date in their unit. And it does, so they have that spare time. Like say she gets a new job today, then it won't go into effect and raise her rent until her renewal date in the unit?
No, when Ms. Strickland was here, the change that we made was from it being from annual to annual. They now have 10 days to report their income, just like the required public housing. And then it goes into effect 60 days later.
Ours, some of, like mine goes in effect like the next day, like immediately, you know.
The only thing, I can't speak to your case specifically, the
Yeah.
only thing that happens immediately is a decrease in
A decrease.
That's the only thing that make it effective.
It's strange.
Is that etched in stone? Is that in the
No,
requirements?
yeah.
My
Which
income
one?
goes up immediately.
Is it required that if they, I mean, if we're gonna help them, if we're gonna help the residents go
Right.
into transitional housing, is that required by HUD that their rent is increased if they get a promotion or a job?
Within 60 days?
Their rent does not get increased based on their income increase. Eagles Point is one of the apartment complexes that do ask often. It can only be approved one increase a year. And most of Eagles Point's increases are denied, at least since I've been in this position, because they
So you're saying that yours have been increased?
Mhm. Yours has been increased.
Every year?
Yeah.
Well, once a year, every year is allowed.
We never had to go over some of my paperwork.
Is that increasing the status of
So,
cost of living or how you base it?
We do a rent reasonable that is for the state of Georgia based on fair market rate of houses.
So
In that
that's
area.
all that's mandatory.
Yes.
Commissioner Dickinson, did we have a meeting and said that we were going to wait until that tenant's renewal date was up to apply their new increase in salary? Yeah, to give them some time, right, and not to do it like 30 or 60 days after
When I
their.
first came in.
I thought we had that.
If there has been another meeting, the only one that I'm aware of is the last one with Ms. Strickland, where we made Section 8 and public housing match, and everybody has to report in 10 days. And then based on if it's an increase or decrease, you either pay immediately or you ask for it.
You can go back and discuss that. Okay, we'll go back and discuss it. Yeah. Thank you, Ms. Williams.
Thank you.
And I guess Mr. Jackson, you'll be in touch with her and let her know. Okay.
Contact information?
Yes, I
Thank you, Ms. Douglas.
Okay.
It's still current. It's still current.
You say if I'm
You know, if your information's still current, it hasn't
it's
changed.
not, it's different.
Okay,
Yeah, it's not the same.
If we don't have anything else, we will entertain a motion to adjourn and go into executive session.
I didn't take a motion to adjourn.
Second.
We need a motion to enter executive session, not
Yeah.
to adjourn.
Not adjourn.
I'm sorry.
We got
Y'all,
We gotta end this meeting and come back to executive session.
But that was my point.
Yeah, not in the,
No, they're done.
then we'll come back out.
Okay, well,
Then we'll end it.
okay. Take a
Motion to
break.
go into executive session.
Entertain a motion.
Motion to go to executive session.
Second. All right, all in favor? That motion carries. Thank you. So the first thing up is the yardstick. I entertain a motion.
We're back in. So I move that we approve the proposal by Yardstick Management LLC for the executive director search, less the interim executive director search flat fee arrangement for $25,000. Meaning we would only hire them for a permanent executive director search.
Yes.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposes? That motion carries. The second thing up is the guide room training.
I'd like
Entertain a motion.
to make a motion that we send the necessary staff for the guard training that will be held in Jackson. I mean, not Jackson, General Island, Georgia.
I would second that motion.
All in favor? Say aye. Any opposes? That motion carries. And the third one,
To elect the secretary treasurer.
okay. I entertain a motion for secretary treasurer.
For nominations.
Motion for nominations. We'll open the floor to nominations for secretary treasurer.
I nominate Commissioner Dixon.
Motion to close the nominations.
I would second that motion.
Woo! All in favor? All in favor? Any opposes? That motion carries.
All right, so now I'll put my line back on the minutes going forward.
Yes. Yeah. I did not know, Ms. Curry, that I did not know who was taking the minutes for the meetings and everything. So he was taking them. I did not know you didn't do it, so,
Yes.
yeah.
My fault, it's always
Yes,
my fault.
you get a
It's
slap on
always
hand.
the attorney.
Yeah,
Always my fault.
yeah. All
Motion to
right,
adjourn.
so I entertain a motion to adjourn.
Adjourn this meeting.
Second,
I second that motion.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right.